Aloha, friends and neighbors, and welcome to show 949. 949 weeks I've served you. Haven't missed a one. I was tempted this week, though, just back from a trip to the high desert country, and, oh boy, it takes a while to recuperate. Anyway, we're going to go through that first part of February 2015 for you on the Sky Mirror. And probably the thing that is important to all of you is that Mercury goes direct. Yes, Thursday morning, early. Mercury goes direct. The moon sextiles it. It actually goes direct on Wednesday, but when the moon sextiles it, that's what gives Mercury lots of power. We're going to talk about that more as we go along. For you right now, the sun is opposing Jupiter. Yep. Too much, too loud, too noisy, too many people pumping it, too many lawyers, too many self-interested, fat, big, rich people. That's Jupiter, huh? There he is. Gee, I didn't draw the opposition. Look at that. I missed it. Son of a gun. Okay, that's better. So the sun's opposing Jupiter. You know, you may be biting off more than you can chew. And it's happening for you right now. The other thing of importance, of course, is that Uranus is still in Aries, squaring Pluto pretty tight. It's come up to 14 degrees now. But that's kind of a... I'm beginning to think of it like the PTSD square. There's sudden horrifics, you know. It's like I discovered the smell of the dead body in my kitchen this morning. Something the cat's dragged in, and I can't find it. That's a sudden Pluto thing. Anyway, if your mind turns that way now and then, it's temporary, even though it's lasted for a while. It will go away. The other square that's going on is Saturn, squaring Neptune. And these guys are in the beginning of mutable signs. So the middle of cardinal signs is still eating it from the Uranus-Pluto thing. We kind of got out of some of that after the full moon, February 3rd. So you don't have a lunation setting this terrible square off. But it's still pretty thick. Witness what happened in New York, right as per predictions. Of course, that's within February 3rd time period. So anyway, it should be a little less energetic. This Saturn-Neptune in the early mutables, from Sag to 7 Pisces, makes for troubles with liquids and things moving, and when the snow all melts and the mud and there's more to it than that, but this is limiting your compassion. Let's say Saturn squaring Neptune. It's too cold for compassion. Let them all freeze. So there's still some, but look at who, right here. Here's Mercury, and Mercury's pretty happy. How come he's happy? Well, he's like a kid, and he's stopping the sky, and he's stopping Wednesday, and the moon sextiles it Thursday for you, and he's stopping at 1 degree of Aquarius. That's where the new moon was. Yes, on January 20th, we had a new moon just about 1 degree of Aquarius. And Mercury's stopping there. That's like going to the meeting of all the moms and dads and gets powered up and directed. And Mercury has a message. I think we better listen Thursday morning. So I had some real experiences in learning with Mercury. I'll show you why in a little bit. First, let's go over the Sky Mirror and find out what's happening here day by day for you. Moon's in Virgo if you're watching the Thursday night show. And you're discovering some things, but you're out of the comfort zone. There's an opposition to Venus. Friday morning on the 6th, the moon's still in Virgo, and there's an opposition to Mars about the middle of the day, and everybody's a little angry, and those young guys, what do they want it all? Boot all that football, sports stuff. Too much violence, too much macho. That's the way you'll feel. Moon in Virgo. A fastidious sign doesn't really like violence much. So, continues those vibes through Saturday morning. The moon shifts into Libra. Oh boy, are we going to get a break? Well, it looks pretty good. Here's a trine to Mercury. Yeah, Saturday in the middle of the day, the moon trines Mercury on the 7th. And boy, we can talk it out. Kids are still happy. Now, Mercury, well, he's still going backwards. It's a good time to go through the old stuff, the stuff that you haven't finished yet. And Mercury, writing is my whole object for the year. I set my solar return up for Mercury. And but if you're finishing something that you already started, Saturday's a good time to do it. You're very organized. There's a nice sextile to Saturn in the afternoon or evening. And so, but this is stuff you have started. I wouldn't start things just yet because Mercury hasn't gone forward yet. Yeah, the Mercury retrograde, well, the messenger, birds are Mercury, yes. Mercury's going along in the sky. He stops and he goes retrograde. He looks like he does. He's back over the same ground. And he stops and goes direct and he goes forward. This happens once, twice, 3 times a year, okay? So you're moving forward, stops, retrograde here, goes back over the same ground. Here's this ground he covered. You go, maybe I should rewrite the letter. Goes back, goes direct here, and then goes forward, and he gets to review it once more. He's already gone over it twice. This ought to be a pretty polished letter, and send it off, see? And once you're up into this zone, well, he's not going to go back here again, so you can do mercurial things very nicely. So, Mercury, messages, short trips, carrying things around. Okay, now you understand a little more why, enticing as it is on Saturday, heck, I would hold back unless I'm finishing something. And Moon in Libra. Here's Sunday on the 8th. You're in the zone. The moon goes by the North Node. We're all taking care of each other early in the morning. That's nice. And it's good because there's the old PTSD culprit again. Sudden aloneness, violence, changes. Wind knocked the power lines down, storm conditions, stuff like that. Now, it won't be as bad as it's been basically through January because the lunation's not setting it off, but still no fun. Sunday's not a time to go out and think you're going to get away with it all because the battery will be dead. The police will have set up a roadblock and stopped traffic. The airlines aren't doing so. Yeah. Gets a lot better early Monday morning. Now, this is about 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, maybe about 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And the moon trines the sun, sextiles Jupiter. Aha! It all clears up. Clear skies up ahead. Well, you're going through Monday, the rest of Libra here, until late Monday night. It's about 10 o'clock or so, maybe, when the moon shifts into Scorpio. And it becomes more mellow for a while. Yeah. Oop, what's this? Monday night. Oh, here's Mercury. There's a square to Mercury. Late Monday night, 10, 11 o'clock, midnight. And here's the new moon at 1 Aquarius. So this Monday is gonna be a problem if you intend to move, go someplace, write, teach, talk. Monday night, zip your lip. Tuesday, you'll start feeling more spiritual. The moon's in Scorpio, a little more sensitive, more compassion as the moon makes a nice trine in Neptune. Breakfast, lunchtime, kind of sweet, kind of nice. Have some music around. Tuesday night, late, here 10, 11 o'clock, full moon point. And this is the moon squaring the full moon, the last full moon. So there's a little lunacy, exaggerated emotions here Tuesday night. You'll go by it easily. Wednesday morning, the moon is in Scorpio. And here's the Venus. Now, Mars and Venus are still a little bit apart here. They're running about 5 degrees apart. But it's still pretty sexy. This is the moon in Scorpio, and you will feel it Wednesday morning and through the middle of the day. And then in the afternoon, here's that Sun-Jupiter opposition, and the moon squaring the sun. I can't get anything done squaring Jupiter. I got too much to do. Eek! And finally you get to the afternoon and evening, it trines Mars and you feel lusty. I don't know if she's still around. If the sexy feeling is Venus and the Martian feeling is lusty, they're a little ways apart here. It looks like business kind of stuff got in the way in the middle of the day. We'll see. The Thursday, the moon is in Sagittarius by the time you get up, and you're in the Saturn zone, and you should go slow and be businesslike. As the moon hits Saturn here, it's Thursday afternoon after lunch. And then it's got to go, well, I got to pull back on this. Be conservative, be careful, we all say, and then it squares Neptune and liquids, oil, problems with protected classes, confusion, delusion, problems with oil and gas and liquids. And so this could be easily mud stuff, on Thursday the 12th, considering what's gone on. But certainly it won't be easy to do things, and you won't be organized. And if you try to get organized, it'll just kind of fall apart like a snowman melting. Thursday the 12th. On Friday, that's Friday the 13th. The moon's still in Sagittarius. There's a nice trine to Uranus. Aha, the higher mind, common sense, brotherhood reigns. A little breakthrough of all the confusion, all the people and their privileges and judgments from Thursday. Privileges are Neptune, judgments are Saturn, see. Here's Uranus, the free thinker. You'll feel that way in the morning. Feels pretty good. In the evening, there's a square to Venus. And, the lovey, sexy side, the sweets aren't behaving so well. But there's a to the sun a little later, around 10, 11, and you can get stuff done and plan stuff. And if you stay up too late here around midnight, the moon squares Mars and we're all off. Where's Venus? Why didn't I get my sweets? Get angry? Oh, it won't do any good. Mars and Venus. Moon squaring Mars and Venus. Get lusty, but can't get no satisfaction, huh? Saturday, the moon's still in Sagittarius until, around lunchtime. And Saturday night, late here, this is 11 o'clock or so, there's a sextile to Neptune. There's time for compassion, art, music. Good time to have your wine-sipping party. Listen to music Saturday night. There's a lot of color and nice stuff here, whatever it is. Sunday morning, however, you hit that old square again, a moon in Capricorn, a cardinal sign. And here it is. The moon goes by Pluto, and your world turns into guns, 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 everywhere guns, and it squares Uranus. Independence, like limiting the police. It's all a panicky feeling again that you hit on the weekends. And here it is again. Middle of Sunday, February 15th. By now you're getting used to it, huh? And here we call this eek, a bug. It's your reptile brain suddenly being startled. You touch a feather to the crocodile's snout and it's automatic. Bing! He springs it, and that's the way this panicky feeling Pluto goes off. And because Uranus is squaring it, it goes off real suddenly, like an alarm bell or a telephone call or something. So your weekends are regularly called, let's call them the interrupted weekends. January, February 2015. It's the way it rolls these days. Tell you, after my solar return, it's quite clear to me that we do not recognize the world of birds. They're all around us all the time. They're behaving in some very complex ways. On the way to my solar return in the high desert, if you go along that highway towards Las Vegas, every now and then you see two big black birds. What are they? They are ravens, and they're huge, and they're always in pairs. And they're there to pick up your scraps on the highway, and they go through them carefully, and whoa, are they big. And that was my first introduction to birds on this return trip. Turned out to be quite a bird trip. Okay, that was the address to go and find out about the app for your iPhone. And when I was traveling, boy, now it happens that this is my son's phone, and he had accidentally displaced it, and we didn't have it until just a few days before the trip. Thank heavens. It's got a compass in it. It's got maps. Oh, you can navigate. So he became the great navigator of our trip. Me, it was this little app right here, the Sky Mirror, for $10. And when you put it on your phone, it doesn't care where you are. It senses it from the GPS. And son of a gun, you got an accurate chart. It says now here. You just make sure, okay, now. And I'm in Kauai, it's 11:53 a.m., there's the date, and here's the way it looks. I'm in the first part of Taurus rising, see? Yeah. Now, this gets to be very important because every time you go and get in a car, cars are what kill. I mean, get serious about it, folks. Cars kill. Leading cause of death for those of you, under 45 is the car. Half of my family died on the road. More than half. And all my friends so far. So when you go out and get in the car, you want to be safe. So, like, here's the Pluto, okay? Let me set it up for you. So here's Pluto. Let's put Pluto on the angle. When you do that, you see Uranus up here on the top. And this is very easy. It turns out this is a new part of the app, is that you can move it like this. And here it says at 4:13. See how I move it back and forth? And it even gives you the square. See the red line between Uranus and Pluto here? Where's my pencil? Give me a pencil there, will you? That red line gets thick when the square is exact. See, so this is the one you wouldn't want to leave on, because Pluto is the police. You'd run into the big accident or somebody, with PTSD. Now, see this line? Here's the square. As we go carefully forward, the square gets big and thick and red, and then it gets smaller. Well, the new thing about this is that you can now move it with eek. Now, if you want to be super accurate, here's the exact minutes and seconds of these bodies. Here's the angles. Here's the planets. You can get right down on it. But for most uses, if you're going to leave the house, for instance, let's suppose you left the house with Saturn opposing, and you go get, here's Saturn opposition, and it squares Neptune up on top, and that means big trucks, stoplights, all kinds of things in your way, see, that would slow your, there it goes solid, see that got real red? Well, that's when it squares the midheaven, and Neptune's right on the midheaven, and all those trucks are all over, stopped, and I'm sorry I'm late, he says. Well, okay, so here you are avoiding something, see? Now let's suppose you want to do something kind of cool, and every time I got in the car to leave, I'm looking at this chart, and because this thing is so easy to use, let's talk about gambling. We learned a long time ago that Jupiter here is the gambling guy. Jupiter's here, and if you set Jupiter sextile the rising sign, you generally have some luck with gambling. So we're cruising along the highway, and there's an Indian casino up ahead, and I'm trying to find the Jupiter sextile the rising sign. And let's see, Jupiter's in the middle of Leo, should be back here. There it is. See the little line pop? That's the sextile. Hooray, we're in a gambling period. You move it back a little bit more. There's Back thing, see? That's when you in the casino putting your quarters in the slots. And we've learned from experience that there's a much more likely side of winning. So whether you're leaving to go on a trip in your car or whether you're going to go gambling, you know, this little beauty does it. Want to get back to now? Just here we are, back to now. Back to the place where you're always in the place you know where you are. You don't have to worry about latitude. You know, all these. We went across 3 states, lickety-split, one day. But this thing was an amazing tool. I mean, I wouldn't leave home without one. I think they're $10 now. And the new edition of this, move it with a fingertip. You know, wow! Is that neat? Like, suppose I want to go down to the beach. Here's Venus. I'm going to put Venus at the top of the chart. I want to go down and see all the girls in the bikinis, and there it is, 2:04 p.m. Pretty neat, huh? Hey, let's check the nation, some astrocartography. Here is your full moon, February 3rd. Okay, Hawaiian Islands. The significant line is Saturn opposing us. It's going to be cold in the month following February 3rd. Very cold. And if you believe the calculations, boy, this thing goes right through Kona. See, it's on the west side of the Big Island here and up through Saturn. A cold front, a cold problem. Okay, here's the map for the three-quarter moon, February 11th. It's kind of where you guys are at, huh? And what we got here in Hawaii, Jupiter's on the rising sign. It could be a little wet here, but generally, like thunder, no harm. Jupiter is pretty good. And I'm keeping my eye over here on this guy, New York. And you know what this line is? This is Mercury on the bottom of the chart. Issues, communication, transportation on February 11th. Still hitting the Big Apple. Here's a brief anthology of my bird adventures. This is the hotel balcony in Laughlin. And this is a little guy. There was 4 of these that really made friends with me. There was a sign on the balcony wall that said, "Do not feed the birds." So I gave him a little granola on it. And this guy, oh, they're so patient and they're so loving. And he sat there like a little hobbit or something, patiently waiting, cooing away. Both of my sons I was with were kind of aghast at attracting these birds. And then Mike popped up and said, you know, Tesla, and at the end of his life, was very angry at people, I guess. Well, we don't know, but he didn't want to see people. He just hung out with these birds. You imagine that? The genius Tesla wanted to be with them. But I can tell you, after some time with these guys, they are very genial companions. It was cold out there on that little balcony. But if you left the window, the door open, the sliding glass door, they would quietly walk in and start cleaning the carpet. These are really gorgeous birds. Kind of orange eyes. They got iridescent purple and green all around their neck feathers. Whoops. Ravens. These aren't crows. They're huge. I mean, they're really big. And they're at the rest stop on the highway going through the Mojave, always operating in pairs. They wouldn't let you get too close, but I tried an old trick. I walked up backwards. I didn't look at him. I just walked backwards. Walked right up to him. Tell you, those ravens were big. When I got up close to them, they kind of scared me. Huge black beaks, very business-like animals, probably 2-3 pounds. And here's the other guy. I'm working on the nene and the alala. Well, so here we ran into a bunch of geese. And these are Canadian geese. Look the same as the nene. There's a difference in the markings. And we came upon this big bunch with like a lake, but actually here it's ice. And this ice, those guys are out walking around on the ice, and we throw a little piece of a donut out there, and we had them right in our laps, and sometimes they'd run and they'd slide and slip. He's going for the donut, trying to catch it before the small birds caught it. But here was my experience with the nene, at least the ancestor of the nene, a wild goose. Wow. Reminds me of that song, "My heart goes where the wild goose goes." Anyway, what an animal. My two favorite birds, and there they were, smack in the middle of my vacation.
You just gotta find the spot.
Okay, I have some really nice video here on my son's iPhone, but it takes anyway, can you see? This is me. Here I am. It's 40 degrees, and look at the birds. And they're on the ice. Now these Canadian geese are a relative of nene. They don't move so fast. They're big. And these smaller birds, you throw a little something out, a crust of bread, and bang. Look at this guy. This guy came right up on the... and he was a courageous one. He also chased away these other birds so that he could get the crust of bread. People came here to feed birds. There's actually a feeding platform here. And you can see some people over there doing it. But the little birds would rush in there and grab it. So I was doing my doggone this courageous goose some food. And he was courageous. Anyway, I had my goose experience, thank you. So the internet address I gave you, skymirastrology.com. If you add a /TV to it, you'll get my website, where you'll get all of the shows and help you more with checking out my predictions. The New York stuff was pretty interesting. Gee, was something. Anyway, I can't tell you how much I enjoy these birds. The ravens, the geese. We saw other birds too. I set this solar return up Mercury, Gemini rising, Mercury here. The nodes exactly sextile my rising. I got birds instead.